can draw. I can draw. I can paint in watercolor. Hey guys, this is Caleb King of thecalebking.com. You're here at C2E2, and I just want you to say, hey, subscribe to Raze Chaos.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is New Comic Book Day. My name is Raze Chaos. You've made it back to my channel for New Comic Book Day. You know I love these. These are the best. And yeah, we've got a very special one today. We have got All American Comics number 16. Way back in 1940 is when this came out. This is the first appearance of Green Lantern. Alan Scott, Green Lantern. And there's so much to this issue, too. This is like way back when they were still throwing stuff at the walls. So even though this is, what is it, All American Comics number 16, there was actually 7 stories in here. Comics were a lot thicker back then. But yeah, you had, I mean, if you actually had this issue and you'd look through it, you would see features for other things. A bunch of different stories. There was, obviously there was Green Lantern. There was a character called Hop Harrigan, which is the closest. As far as characters went, he was the closest thing to being a recognizable character, as he had a long. He grew in popularity. He was the most popular character that was already in comics at the time. Obviously, Green Lantern just starting. They had another feature called Red, White, and Blue, which was a Marine, basically an army man, and a sailor, and the 3 of them would get into situations. There was Ultraman, who wasn't really a superhero. He was set in the far future, and it was just kind of his day-to-day thing that they would do stories on. There was also a feature in here. I'm not going to name them all, but I've got to name just a couple. I have to name Scribbly had a feature in here. And Scribbly is one of the glue, is kind of the glue that kept a lot of things together for DC at the time. He basically, Scribbly introduced a couple characters called Mike and Ike, I believe, or no, Sugar and Spike, they were popular at the time. They were just basically 2 toddlers that ran around, and Scribbly was either their babysitter, their neighbor, or something like that, but he would, be there. And the other person in Scribbly's neighborhood was Ma Hunkle. And if you don't know who Ma Hunkle is, well, she was just the neighbor. But when danger called, she would put a soup pot over her head, don a cape, and she would become the original Red Tornado. Yes, and yeah, so those kind of branched out into further into some of the more recognizable DC universe that developed from there. But Green Lantern, as he appears here, yes, not a lot of people know, but Green Lantern shared a creator along with certain somebody else. To give you a hint, Green Lantern's base of operations is Gotham City. Believe it or not. They have made reference to this in the past in regular continuity. But yes, Green Lantern was created by Bill Finger, who created Batman, even though Bob Kane stole it. Bob Kane basically legally created Batman. But yeah, you had him showing up. He had his famous ring, his big obnoxious costume, which is honestly really awesome. In my opinion, it's just like, wow, who's gonna miss that? I'm gonna put you away because I'm getting tired of holding you. But yes, this basically shows the entire origin of Green Lantern, where he's in a, Alan Scott is in a train accident, and he finds a lantern that, just projects green flames. And the flames in there say, I flame 3 times, third time for power. And he fashions a ring from the metal and recharges it with his lantern. And they actually tied it into the actual lantern being from Oa. And the flame projection actually came from a long deceased spirit of an old Green Lantern who had possessed the thing just long enough to pass it along. But the impurity here was wood. He couldn't do anything to wood. And yellow was just fine. But yeah, this is where it kicked off. This is another reason why Bill Finger is amazing. And yeah, there's just so much to talk about as far as these older comics go. You catch myself getting conflicted and confused and mixed up and just so much to talk about. And I should mention, this is a Walmart exclusive. And unfortunately with Walmart exclusives, I don't find them when they're advertised a lot of times. I come late to the game, even though Walmart is like one of the few places I go regularly. They are the ones that surprise me with their exclusives. So this is definitely a must-have. This is definitely a worthy addition to the collection. This is so much better than the deceased Green Lantern, which was Black Canary. Though I will say I am currently reading the deceased storyline, so maybe it'll get a little bit better after that. But otherwise, yeah, this is the one I would have wanted if they had this option. And if I wasn't getting them all, I would have gotten this Green Lantern over the other one. Because yeah, this is just history-rich information on I love researching some of these. Some of them I don't have to. Others I love to just dive into. But yeah, if you want to see Raze flex geek, these are the things that are gonna bring it out of him. And yeah, I just love the fact that they actually do have his cape is purple and the other side is green. And yeah, I just had to stop and mention that because that's just such a bizarre choice. And I absolutely love it. And yes, they were still putting the ties for the masks at these times. This is before they decided to give up on that. They'd still show that the mask was tied on. But I'm going to keep going if I don't stop. And you don't want to be here all day. Or maybe you do. If you do, there's a whole playlist of comic book covers because I collect as many as I can get a hold of. I collect them all, but it's when I can get a hold of them is the difficult part. But I'm always looking and I'm always grabbing. The only ones I don't get are the Star Wars because they are bobbleheads, and the one that I did get doesn't fit with the rest of them. And that was very upsetting, but sacrifices have to be made. So, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Click like on this video if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you are a fan of the original Green Lantern. Let me know if you've ever heard of Hop Harrigan. because that's one that I know of, but like I don't think I've ever actually read one of his stories. And I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I will see you very soon, because there's a reason that yesterday's video was DC and today's is DC, because something's coming for Friday. And if you watched the Bearded Barbarians live stream the other night, last week, I think, you will already know what it is. But yeah, it is coming. The crisis is coming. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Never forget, the life is full of odd moments, and you never know when you're going to be defined.